We're on page 112, and we're going to do only two problems here. There's only two problems on the page, number 6 and number 7. So let's get started. Example 6. The distance d in feet that a free-falling object travels in t seconds is given by the formula d equals 16t squared. Now, notice that we've just given different letters for the variables. The variables are d and t here. T is the time, d is the distance. I mean, we could have written y equals 16x squared. So often in these kinds of problems, we choose we use letters that are more appropriate to the problem, distance being in d and time given in seconds. How long would it take for an object to fall 96 feet? Well, this means, this is what it's telling us, is that d equals 96. So we replace the d with the 96, and we get that equal to 16t squared. Well, if we divide this side by 16 and this side by 16, 96 divided by 16 gives us 6. 16 divided by 16 gives us t1, or t squared. In this case, 1 times t squared. So t equals plus 6 or minus 6. Now, in a real problem, you can't have something having a negative time. So the only solution is the positive solution. By the way, this is an irrational number. So d equals approximately 2.45 seconds. It's a number that doesn't terminate and it doesn't repeat. So it keeps on going. This is nearly equal. So it's only an approximation of the square root of 6. It's not an exact solution. So if we go to the left side of this problem, right here, it's 96. The right side is 16t squared. We replace the t with the square root of 6. T squared is root 6 times root 6, which is 6. 6 times 16 is 96. So the left side equals the right side. Now, if we go to the next problem, example 7, find x if the area of the rectangle below is 30 centimeters squared. So here we have, doesn't matter which we call the width, we call this the width, this the length. It doesn't matter because we're going to multiply these two together. And so it doesn't matter whether we multiply x times x plus 4, or we multiply x plus 4 times x. So the area is equal to the length times the width. The order doesn't matter. So now we've got x times x gives us x squared. X times plus 4 gives us plus 4x. This is not in the standard form for a quadratic equation where we must have 0. So we're going to transpose this to the right side, and it's going to become minus 30. Now we've got it in the standard form. So in this particular case, we're going to see minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac. C is minus 30. A is 1. And b is 4. We're just putting that into the quadratic formula. This is 16 plus, this is 120, so that gives us 136. So x is the length here, and since the length cannot be negative, we're only going to use the positive solution here. If we use minus root 136 here, the length would be negative. Well, the length can't be negative. So minus 4 plus root 136 over 2. By the way, root 136 is the root of 136 gives an irrational number. It doesn't end. It just keeps on going. This is only an approximation. That's why you see this solution here. So minus 4 plus 11.66 gives you about, gives you 7.66. 7.66 divided by 2 gives you 3.83. So you can do this on your calculator, and that gives you the answer. So now, if you go back and you substitute the solution, and this, as we call it, is an exact solution. This is an approximation, because there is no exact answer. This is an irrational number. It keeps on going, so there's no exact solution. Anyway, we're going to go and check the solution. Minus 4 plus root 136 over 2. We're going to put it back into the area formula, and we're going to see what we get. So we have x here times x plus 4, because x is this, and then we have x plus 4, which is this part over here. This part, to repeat, is x, and this is x plus 4. Okay, so now what we're going to do, instead of 4, I'm going to write 8 over 2 so that I have a common denominator here. Now I have a common denominator here. I'm going to bring the 8 over here. I get 8 minus 4, which is going to give me 4 plus root 136 over 2. So this whole thing, this second bracket, becomes this. And, okay, so now if I multiply plus 1 root 36 times plus 1 root 36, I get 136. And minus 4 and 4 here will give me minus 16, and 2 times 2 gives me 4. And you'll notice that what happens here is the outer and inner term cancel. So we really have the difference of squares here. So there's no middle term here, because here you can see you've got plus 4 times root 136. That's the inner, minus 4 times root 136, so they cancel. So it's really only the first times the first and the last times the last, which gives us this. And 136 minus 16 is 120. 120 over 4 is 30. The left side is 30, and the right side, if you go back over here, let's go back to the equation right here. Right, left side is 30, and we found that the right side is 30. So we started with the right side. We found it was 30. The left side was 30, so the left side equals the right side. Notice in this particular problem, you can't use factoring. Let's go up here. There's no way to factor this equation. You can't factor it. Okay? So you see there's no combination of 30 that'll give you plus 4. If you think of what the factors of this are, it could be 5 and 6, or 3 and 10. There's no way that you're going 30 and 1. There's no way you're going to get a middle term of 4x. So you can't factor it in the normal fashion, and you have to use the quadratic. And as we said here, the root of 136 is a irrational number. So b squared minus 4ac, let's just go back to that over here, what it says over here. b squared minus 4ac, we found it was 136, which is not a perfect square. 136 is not a perfect square, and so the solutions must involve an irrational number. Now let's go back. There are really two irrational solutions here. Minus 4 minus root 136 over 2, and minus 4 plus root 136 over 2. However, we discarded the negative 1 because a length cannot be negative. So let's go over this again. We took this problem We solved it. We used the quadratic. This is the exact solution. We removed one of the solutions with a minus because that would have given us a negative length. This this leads to the number 3.83, which is an approximation. This is really an irrational solution because the root of 136 is not a perfect square. When we checked our answer, the exact answer, we put it back in, and we found that it did give us 30, which was the other side of the equation. So this completes our discussion on page